Hey there, great to see you. I'm Jenny Kirk, welcoming you back here to Weir Yard, where we're continuing the rebuild of this loft layout. Here in episode 4, we're going to be continuing on with the mountain. Where we left it last time, it does look a lot better than it did. I think certainly there's a massive improvement from the original mountain that used to live here. And really what I've put together now feels like it reflects much better the standard of modelling that I've got to. Modelling's like anything else, the more you do it, the better you get at it. And for a long time, I just really thought that this needed a massive spruce, so here we are. Now in today's video, I'm going to be looking to start on the ground cover for the mountain, and this is the exciting point, the bit where it really does start to come together. And hopefully by the end of today's video, we'll have something that looks pretty much nearly finished. Of course, the rebuild of Weir Yard will continue. We're going to work our way round. There's going to be a lot of episodes in this, and as always, do come with me for this journey. Take inspiration for your own model rail building projects. I'd love to hear from you in the comments section as we go on, what you think about what's happening, and also how your own projects are coming along, and if there's anything that you've seen in these videos that you want to carry over to that. Please hit that like button, it's a good way to feed the algorithm, and also consider sharing to social media. And as always, if you haven't already done so, do subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell to make sure that you don't miss out on future video updates. But let's go over to the mountain and let's get to work. Are you coming? Today's video comes in association with Tramfabriek, makers of DCC decoders and accessories that are designed by enthusiasts for enthusiasts. Find the full range available to order now at tramfabriek.co.uk. We're proud to be supported by TMC, the Model Centre, your first choice for new and used. Pre-order all forthcoming models with confidence, or check out the extensive listings of second-hand. Each model is checked by experts in the field to make sure you're getting the very best. With new models uploaded daily, there's always something new to find. You can also specify from their value weathering and renumbering service right through to bespoke graffiti to get exactly the model that you want. Get something special today by browsing at themodelcentre.com. Over here at the layout you can see that everything's had a chance to dry. I've got some ballast in before, and I'm going to be using a number of different products. So first up we've got from Warworld Scenics Extra Fine Dark Grey Ballast. And because I want different colours, different grades, I'm going to be mixing in some fine ballast grey blend. There's also some fine ballast cinders from Woodland Scenics, a packet of GM 1503 sandstone boulders for some quite coarse material. And then finally I've got from All Game Terrain, it's in a standard Woodland Scenics canister shaker. This was some ground cover that's actually got a little bit of kind of ground flocking green in it, and it doesn't mix together quite perfectly, and this is brilliant for doing some of the scree, because with a little bit of grass poking through, it's one product that does everything. And that's actually left over from when I did Myneth Tatus Newydd. I've also got this product, which is Alpine Meadow Static Grass, again part used from the Myneth Tatus Newydd rebuild, and this comes with little cork boulders, and I quite like it. It's really good for this type of terrain, and I'm going to be using a combination of Speed Bond and also some Super Seal, again from All Game Terrain. And the whole point of this is a little method that I came up with, which seems to work really well. I mix a bunch of these together just in a little bowl here. So first of all, just put a huge dollop of this stuff, Speed Bond, into the bowl. Now I'm going to get the boulders, and this is definitely a product which Just adds to the texture. Now open it over the bowl and in it all goes, and I mean all of it. There's quite a bit there. And then to this I'm going to add in a little bit of the fine ballast cinders. We've got the extra fine dark grey ballast as well. Putting a little bit of this in. Fine ballast grey blend. Again, small amount there. And then what I'm going to be doing is just mixing all this up. And I'm going to be utilising all of these to start work and make this look like a rather desolate rocky outcrop with patches of grass but an awful lot of loose scree and rock falls to kind of complement those cast rock faces that are on there. I've got an old spoon and then we're going to mix this up and it's going to become like kind of porridge you really don't want to eat.
Hey, come on!
Just to water it down a little bit. I like to use Super Seal because this is a glue in and of itself and it mixes reasonably well with the Speed Bond. Just mix all of this together. If you need to, perhaps a little bit of water in there just to thin it down. And let's just mix all of this up. It'll become like a kind of porridge. I want to darken it down a little bit. I'm going to put just, some of the cinders in too. We already had some in, but this just darkens the mix down. And those sandstone boulders go a long way to give us quite a nice thick consistency of particle size. Just spent a little bit of time mixing it up, making sure that that Speed Bond is completely mixed in and dissolved. And I think we're about there. And then what I'm going to do is just start to put some of this onto the ground. This is going to be the stream bed. So I'm going to have some of this in here. We will clean it away with some water and a paintbrush from some of the rocky outcrops, but just at the moment this will make a nice base. And then I'm just going to work around the model, and you can see because it's quite a thick porridge it does tend to sort of cling a little bit, which is great. There's also a stream bed, a tarn, and the starting of a couple of waterfalls as well. And this is the stage where they get the first pass of gravel that will make up the stream beds. I'm not going to be putting in the water just yet, but that is something that we need to prepare for. And just some that's just running down the mountain. Again, we'll use a paintbrush and a little bit of water to just clean that off some of the outcrops. I don't want to just completely cover up all of that work that we did. I've got all of that on. You can see there's a few rivulets of the glue just winding its way down. I used the paintbrush just to tamp things into place. And what I'm going to do now is I've put some more of the Speed Bond into my bowl. You can just see it there. And this is where I'm going to go for a slightly different approach. I'm going to go with a little bit more of just the plain gravel, some of the fine gravel, and finally just cinders. So this doesn't have the really big rocks in, and this I'm going to use again just to build up different texture. A little bit of the Super Seal, and again just going to mix this up, make like a porridge, and then I'm going to keep going. There's a few little areas that I just need a bit of ground cover. There'll be some static grass goes over the top, but I think this will work out just fine. It will take a little while to all dry. I'm going to actually as well, one of the things that I want to try is putting just a little bit of grass into this. So I'm just going to experiment a bit. This may or may not work. I've got some of this very, very fine dark olive green scatter. I'm going to put some of that in and just see whether that comes out all right. I suspect it will just change the colour slightly, but you know, sometimes Bob Ross it. Let's Ross it up.
Let's Ross it!
And see what we can get out of this. So I've mixed that up and I'm going to go around, and I want to as well, at the base of the waterfall, just down here, I want to bed in the base of the cliff as well. There's a few rivulets of the glue coming down. They'll dry clear. I'm not going to worry about them, but they do provide suggestions of where water effects will ultimately go as well, showing me the natural way in which various watercourses would run on such a thing. I've also made up, I didn't talk about these before, I probably should have, some bridge girders just down here from some Pico girder sides. Carefully cut some bits and pieces from one of the other bridges that's being dismantled, and painted them up with Humbrol number 108. I've finally managed to find a tin, long discontinued, but the old formula stuff is amazing and it's a great colour. So this is for the suggestion of where the waterfall will come down behind. I'm going to have another girder on the other side here, and I'm going to be creating on the old switch shelf, which used to house the switches for the points before I went fully DCC. This is going to become incorporated as a lower level with water in and embankment sides, so that the track doesn't feel like it's just hard on the baseboard like it actually is. So that is a plan for just building in as I go along. But for now I've had to put in this girder. A little bit of PVA did the job, but actually most of what's going to be securing that is going to be the ballast and the glue behind. I'm just going to go around and wipe off some of the bottom using some water and my paintbrush. I will also use some vegetation down here as well, just to feather everything in. And the best thing about this is you can actually paint it onto stuff, so I can move it about if you've got too much in one location. It really is quite simple to move it about as a kind of paste and just find places where it kind of seems to work better. But this will take a day or two now to dry, but I'm going to carry on with some other ground cover. Additional support is provided by...
This is Clark Railworks, and this is what we do. You'll know us from Ellis Clark Trains, and you'll get the same friendly expertise with us too. We've got a huge range of pre-owned model railways from all your favourite manufacturers, and maybe some you hadn't heard of before. It's the place to come for quality. We don't stock substandard models, and everything we sell is fully tested and photographed by model railway experts. No matter whether you model double O gauge, N, HO or more, we have sought after models from all around the world with new listings added every weekday. Check out what's available now at clarkrailworks.com and don't miss out on your latest logo.
Now, I mentioned this before, really great stuff, but instead of actually putting it on with a mix with the glue, this is going to get sprinkled on dry. Gonna shake it up, and then I'm going to sprinkle this between some of the more hardcore scree that I've already got onto the model. And because this is going on dry, it clings in a different way to some of the scenery. Now I'm just going to add in a little tiny bit of foliage into this. This is from War World Scenics, something to mix in with the gravel and provide a suggestion of foliage. Slowly work my way around to see what works. I will actually use some of the Super Seal glue with one of the spray bottle attachments. With the basic ground cover done, I've gone over with some of that Alpine Meadow static grass, where it's kind of a scatter stroke static grass. You can't really apply it with a static grass applicator because of the lumps of cork, which are supposed to signify boulders. It does work really well, but you kind of have to sprinkle it on. I'm going to move over to the Warworld Scenics Progress Detailer now. The reason for this is that we've got some quite small areas that I want to add in static grass, and I don't want to flood the whole thing with grass everywhere and then have to spend ages trying to clear it up. So we've got two different interchangeable heads on this. This is the smaller of the two, and it just allows small amounts to be applied quite precisely. And I'm going to be using a mix-up of several different grasses. So I've got patchy grass, 4mm, muddy grass, 4mm, dead grass, 4mm, 2mm autumn grass, and I think the final one I've got here is North Euro 4mm. So I'm just going to mix and match between all of these, and my usual technique is to actually just take a little bit of a couple of different colours. That's quite full, I think. That's a good one to use. So all we're wanting is a small amount in there of that, and let's go with the dead grass 4mm. I can leave the tops off so I know which ones I'm actually using, and I'm going to very, very gently, small amount in there, and I'm going to use a small screwdriver just to mix it a little bit, and that's the static grass applicator ready to go. And then the first thing that I need to do is to use basing glue. So this is the Warworld Scenics basing glue, and this is an important initial step, and it does allow later on for us to kind of just clean back any static grass off rock faces that we didn't want the static grass to be on. And I'm going to start building up small amounts of the static grass. And again, you don't need to actually stick this to anything, just hold it close-ish by, and then just get to work. Just start adding small amounts. I find sometimes just tapping the static grass applicator seems to work the best. And actually, I think we might get away with a slightly bigger static grass applicator head. So I'm going to try using the slightly bigger head here. And then as I go through this as well, I've got some different very, very fine scatters that I'm going to be using. The step I'm going to do now, this is something that Les Cliff taught me, is that you can now brush back on some of the rock faces and just expose the rocks underneath. And this is a really important step. And of course you can do this because all of the rocks are painted. So it doesn't matter where you clear the grass away from, you will get perfect rocky outcrops. Of course, we didn't put any of the basing glue on any of these areas, so it's all right. I'm going to just do a little bit up there and a little bit on there. Of course, we've also got some gravel underneath as well in some locations, just to add a little bit of variety. And you can kind of just tamp in some of the stuff that you pare away. And there we have it. It's all starting to come together. I can leave that to dry and then start to do some of the foliage. But I'm going to move up into the higher mountains, and I'm going to keep going with the static grass. I've pushed a little bit of pinches of that alpine meadow stuff into some of the gaps that you just can't get to. And the stage that I like to do now is actually take some of the longer grass, maybe the patchy grass I've got here. I've got wild meadow 6mm. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to use some of this with dabs of PVA glue. And the idea behind this is we're putting in by hand some little tufts of grass in a way that would be really difficult to do, particularly the longer grain stuff. So let's take a look in here. It's quite light, it's almost straw-like, and we're just going to dab that into the PVA. And let's get a little bit of this. I do like this colour. This is that 4mm. And I think a little tuft here. And we can just make sure that this sticks if we use a little tiny dab of the static grass layering spray. And I'm also going to get to work with some of the self-adhesive red tufts. I'm going to put these sort of clumped around certain areas, and I think that they're going to really bring a splash of colour to the mountain. And then I'm also going to liberate some of the Primo Models trees that I've got over on Mill Hill. And maybe a couple of those I'm going to find places to put them on here. The idea for the trees as well is they're getting upgraded. I'm getting rid of the old bog brush trees and trying to put in decent stuff instead. And I think that, you know, less is more with this. And I'm going to investigate some of the salvaged materials from the old mountain too. Well, I really hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Certainly, it's been great fun getting back into model making and putting together this mountain as the first part of the redevelopment of Weir Yard. You can see that it's come together quite nicely. I'm really pleased with the end result. There's a lot of different textures and colours, and I always say that the eye sees texture as much as it sees colour. It's really important, and that's one of the reasons that I've used all those gravels, the ballasts, the cinders, things like that, just to really get a sense of lots of different real-world materials. Now, the two Primo Models trees there just set the scene off. I really love the products from this manufacturer, and I had these actually over on one of the other hills on Weir Yard, and that hill is going to get redeveloped, so I thought it was a good opportunity to start plucking the trees off that and reusing them here. And I'm away at a show this weekend as of filming, so I'm going to be picking up a whole load more model trees from Primo Models to dot about the layout. I think if you're going to do something, do it properly, and really their trees can't be beaten. Now, there's still more to do on this, but I'm going to call it a day at this, really because all of the glues and the paints need time to fully dry before I can do the water features. I've talked about this from the outset. I really do love doing the water features on Mynydh Tatws Newydd. They really did bring that layout alive, and I want to replicate some of that here on the model. So once everything's had quite a few days just to harden off, then I'm going to get to work with the two-part resin. And that's important because if you have any moisture underneath it, then it won't set properly and you get kind of cloudiness that just completely ruins the effect. So there's no point in trying to rush all of that. I have put in just down here the bridge girder, which represents that there would be a kind of culvert underneath the lowermost tracks for that water to have somewhere to go. And the reason for that is because there's going to be a waterfall here, and I don't want to have that resin just kind of ending in a puddle. So this gives a great little feature just to hide the fact that there isn't actually a culvert there, and there'll be more work done at the front. But that is getting ahead of myself. In the next video, I'm going to be looking to do all of that. I've got other stuff to do as well, and right over here you can see beyond the tunnel mouth there's some really quite abysmal trees, and I was really proud of myself when I made those. but they're going to be coming out, and I've got to do a load of static grassing there. I might actually do that as a live model build on the Monday Club sometime. You guys really enjoyed doing a live build along where you did your project whilst I did mine, and we all chatted together and hung out, and it's a great way to get some motivation for model building. But we'll see what time tells. In the comment section down below, it's great to hear from you guys. Let me know about your modelling project. What are you up to? And is there anything from what I've been doing that you've taken away and you think, oh, I'm gonna try that and see what I can do on my model layout? It's always great to hear from you. And as always, do hit that like button. Consider sharing the video to social media. Let people know about this cool build project. And as always, you're always welcome to join me for this journey. And you can check us out over on Patreon and our full merch store. And there's some affiliate links down below for some of the materials and products that we've been using here in this video. Until next time, take great care of yourself. Happy modelling. Bye for now. Today's video comes in association with Trainomatic, makers of DCT decoders and accessories that are designed by enthusiasts for enthusiasts. Find the full range available to order now at tramfabriek.co.uk. Additional support is provided by...
This is Clark Railworks, and this is what we do. You'll know us from Ellis Clark Trains, and you'll get the same friendly expertise with us too. We've got a huge range of pre-owned model railways from all your favourite manufacturers, and maybe some you hadn't heard of before. It's the place to come for quality. We don't stock substandard models, and everything we sell is fully tested and photographed by model railway experts. No matter whether you model OO gauge, N, HO or more, we have sought after models from all around the world with new listings added every weekday. Check out what's available now at clarkrailworks.com and don't miss out on your latest logo.
We're proud to be supported by TMC, the Model Centre, your first choice for new and used. Pre-order all forthcoming models with confidence, or check out the extensive listings of second-hand. Each model is checked by experts in the field to make sure you're getting the very best. With new models uploaded daily, there's always something new to find. You can also specify from their value weathering and renumbering service right through to bespoke graffiti to get exactly the model that you want. Get something special today by browsing at themodelcentre.com. I'd like to thank everybody over on Patreon, and an extra special huge thanks goes out to our Patreon heroes. Without you guys over on Patreon, we really wouldn't be able to keep making the video content that you see on this channel. And don't forget that you can also head on over to patreon.com/Jennifer Kirk and check out the different tiers of rewards. Thank you so much. You are absolute legends.